All right, Yellowjackets, it's that time again. It's time to huddle up and talk about this episode. And I mean, we have to just start off with huddling up to say goodbye and RIP to Van, because gee, I was not expecting that. Did
I
you have an inkling? Did you think that was coming?
Yeah, I did. Well, just because I'm like citizen detective, status with this show. I was like pretty much the name of the episode was How the Story Ends, right? And I feel like if we know one thing about Van, especially in the teen timeline, she's the storyteller.
Yeah.
She's always the one ta telling them a story around the fire, like when
Oh
she's
yeah.
like recounting the movie when while you were sleeping, or even at the beginning of this season when she told the story about like previously on the Yellowjackets and
Yeah.
like told them about all the things and sacrifices that they made and how they were rewarded. So when it said how the story ends, I was like, all right, we've already talked about it in a previous episode that I was like, I'm pretty sure Van is not long for this world. Like I was like, I think she might die this season.
Hmm.
Looks like I was right on the money. I don't feel like happy that I'm like, oh, good, she's dead. I love Van. I think the casting for like the young and adult Van is just like so
It's
good.
perfect.
I mean, all of them are great, but like it really is perfect. And I liked how much their teen and adult selves like got to interact this episode, which I saw was a request from the actors to
Oh,
the writers and creators, and they did it because they were like, we never really get to share the screen much, and we would like to, and like spend their last moments together when they have the plane vision. I just thought it was like kind of nice, and even like the Goonies stuff at the beginning of the
yeah.
episode. A lot of eagle-eyed people, I cannot take credit for this, but they like freeze frame everything. And the like stuff that Teen Van that she during the opening scene hallucination when Van
Yeah.
gets like she tells her like, do you know the Goonies and all that?
She's like,
Um,
I've literally seen
yeah,
this more than you.
like
Like,
way more. It's like
I
duh.
have years on you. I've seen it.
Obviously, if you have, I have. But what I loved about it was a lot of people noticed like they do a close up of whatever the fuck, like some black fluid that
Yeah.
young Van injects into like the bag that's attached to adult Van. And the like number, it says like the number is like like 2525 or whatever. It's the same as their flight number. And
Oh,
I was like, that's fucking
that's
cute little detail.
some lost shit.
That's what I'm saying. This show is really intensive with like all these things that it's like really laying the groundwork for early on and then really paying it off. So like if you're impatient at this point or you're stressed about the decisions that are being made, just fucking like literally take a fucking to quote White Lotus, take a little razapam and fucking just sit back and let it happen. Cause I mean, I feel like a lot of people are pretty mad about they were pretty mad about Lottie dying. Now they're pretty mad about Van dying as an adult because they also just introduced both these characters as adults last season.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm curious what you think because I personally I have trust in the creators and the writers. I don't think this season's been garbage. I've really enjoyed it. So I feel like I trust them and we'll get more information later. But like I thought it was a really exciting move, especially having Melissa be the one that killed her.
Yeah, we'll save our thoughts on Melissa a little bit
Yeah.
further down the episode.
But are you like, do you feel like, oh God, what are they doing? Why are they killing these people off? I thought they had more story to tell.
No, because this whole show is about people dying.
That's what I'm saying, right? This
Like
whole show is about trauma eating people to death around every corner.
yeah, like can you think of any like dramatic show that from the start to the end, like none of the core cast dies?
Game of Thrones, probably.
Yeah,
Kidding.
yeah,
Literally
yeah.
everybody get once a season, sometimes multiples. No, that was a total joke. I loved this. I loved that show, but they killed more people than anyone. But now it's like a total thing. I feel like also when you're dealing with trauma, violence as like these are pretty violent teenagers. I don't think that shit goes away. Like as we've seen with Shauna
Yeah.
going full on crazy like woods lady again. Like she's literally like fucking insane. She's not even insane. She's just finally showing her true colors, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really just hiding in all of them. Clearly Melissa too, but I don't have a problem with any of these. I kind of thought there was going to be more with Lottie and Callie, but like I think next this, we're going to the finale. We'll talk about some of our predictions, but I feel like we're going to find out what happened with Lottie next episode. So I'm
Yeah.
saving any thoughts about her death until the season's over because I didn't really care about Lottie as a character either way. Like I love her part in the story, but I'm not like, "Oh my God, she's dead." Like I was like,
Yeah.
"This bitch is nuts in both timelines. Why are they letting her into the house?"
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, you know, first off, like I would be very concerned if characters aren't dying in a show like this because then that just makes me think like, oh, they're going to try and drag this show out as long as they possibly can.
Exactly.
And it's also kind of cool because it's a parallel almost to what we're seeing in the teen timeline where we know some people survive,
Hmm.
but we don't know who all the people that survive are. And so
Yeah.
now we like okay, in the past we have our locked characters that we know nothing is going to happen to them. So now in the future, that's where they're like there's some mystery of like we know who makes it through kind of, but it's like now how many of them are actually going to endure and survive the rest of this. And so now we're at this point where like okay, Natalie's dead, Van's dead, but their teen selves are still alive.
Hmm.
How does that play out with all the other characters and like stuff? So I really like it,
Yeah.
and so I'm here for it. It did surprise me that they killed off two main characters this season.
And from the adult timeline, which I honestly feel like we're gonna lose a couple people in the teen timeline next episode. I mean, they've had a couple deaths throughout the season already, but it's like obviously Ben was the most serious so far, so I feel like a couple of the girls are definitely gonna be killed. Like from the promo for the next episode, looks like they're doing a hunt in the wintertime. So
Yeah,
shit's going down for better or worse. But I
I
thought this, like, I think with Van, what's funny is that, like, I don't know if you know this little fact, but like originally Van was like not even supposed to like survive
I remember you
past
telling me
like
that.
a couple episodes of season one, and she was gonna die. And like obviously she has multiple brushes with death throughout the show, but like literally they kept her on because like she was such a great actress. Like
Are you talking
or
about the teen van?
Teen Van was such a great character. Everyone loved Teen Van. And then they brought in Adult Van because of that. So it like Adult Van was never really part of the original plan, I think. So I wasn't fully like, oh, she needs to stick around for more. It kind of sucks for her, but I like the fact that I was also correct that when she died, the regular Ty came back.
Yeah,
She finally got back in control, which is what I thought it would. Who knows if other Ty is still just down there to like on like hold waiting on the phone, but
yeah,
I'm curious like if that means that she's gone now that Van's gone.
yeah. It was kind of the opposite of what I was thinking was going to happen. I thought Ty was going to like sacrifice herself to
Hmm.
save Van, but it was actually kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about so the opening scene with young and adult Ty talking to
Hmm.
each other. Young Ty said something about like uh Shauna
You
ditching
mean
you.
Van?
Sorry,
Young
Van.
and
Yeah.
adult Van. Okay, I
Va
was like, what do you mean?
Teen Van said Shauna ditched you. That figures.
Hmm.
Is is that based off something we've seen already, or is that like an indication of something happening in the teen timeline
Yeah,
of
I don't
Shauna
know.
like abandoning Van specifically, or maybe abandoning like the group.
I could see it, honestly. I could see, or maybe her like banishing everyone, or yeah, I don't fucking know, but maybe. I mean, I feel like the worst for Shauna is still yet to come, like in out in the wilderness. I think it's gonna get worse before like they get rescued. And then maybe when she gets rescued, like obviously what Jackie said to her in the freezer this season when she like, which is her own mind talking to her saying like the shit that you did out there and the shit you did when you got back. Like that means that they did something fucked up. Because like obviously I don't think the transition is going to be easy, but I'm curious if we're gonna get there or if that's gonna be something that they introduce next season because I feel like that's where maybe we it could go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like Shauna though, the worst is yet to come, so I feel like it's gonna be something that we haven't seen because I can't really nail down something she's done that would straight up ditch them, except for the fact that she's just an asshole and that she's really fucking narcissistic and selfish.
God, the way
Um,
Shauna treated Melissa in the teen timeline, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, basically flipping all the things that she felt about herself because of Jackie and like turning it back to Melissa. Like, I don't know if Melissa's supposed to be the big bad villain, but I'm like, go Melissa, like in both timelines. Like
Yeah.
this episode, like, and I'm just glad that she's coming out from under Shauna's wing because she kind of went back in, and I really loved that. Like, Shauna's just so paranoid, you can see already, and crazy, and already up to like fucking her shit that she's done as an adult, which is be paranoid and panic and think everyone's against you
Yeah.
and think everyone's out to get you when it's like it's just you, bitch. So I kind of think I don't know. What do you think about that?
I I mean, Shauna at this point is she's in her villain arc, except she
Yeah.
kind of got a little redemption in the adult timeline with Melissa killing Van, where it's
Yeah,
like,
but like also again, I don't feel really that bad about it because like the way that like even Ty in the when they're in the teenage timeline, she says to Van like talking about rigging the cards and choosing who dies. So I personally think Melissa is out for revenge because these bitches are the ones
yeah,
that like it's I mean, if unless any of the JV fucking people survived outside of it looks like in that group, just her and Natalie are the only and like Misty like obviously is going between both, but like I don't know if any of those other ones survive, so I feel like Van might be the one choosing those girls to die first. Or even
oh,
Hannah when they said that like I was wondering maybe like Melissa is lying about I mean she's not lying about everything, but I think maybe she's lying that the fact that like Hannah's daughter Alex does know who she is and has heard the tape and like they're in it together
oh,
because like maybe this is for revenge against her mom because clearly they're gonna like I mean if they don't choose maybe they don't choose Hannah right away for like the pit girl and the
yeah.
out there now that she's part of them, but like I do feel she's like coming up soon and definitely before they get rescued, obviously. So I don't know. I kind of feel like that could be interesting. Plus, she left the dead body there, Van. Like, and she left Shauna there covered in blood with blood everywhere. She left her house twice with a ton of blood and like people there that like would murder her child and wife if they came home. So I kind of feel like either they were going to be gone for like 9 to 10 hours and she knew that, or like the wife is in on it too.
So this might be like a Saw situation. The house is
Yeah,
the trap.
this is the trap. Like I honestly was like, she kept ditching people at her house, and I feel like, I mean, and maybe she's just trying to survive by running away, but I also think like when she like the opening sequence, like after the opening sequence with Van, with Shauna and Melissa in the adult timeline when she does make her eat her fucking
Yeah,
skin. Grody. And I love that she spits it in her face and then like gets away. And when she's driving before it cuts to the like opening sequence,
yeah,
she like has a very Hillary Swank is incredible, first off, but she
yeah.
just has this like really slight kind of smile. Did you notice that?
I did. I saw a little grin.
And I was like, oh, this bitch is crazy. Like, that's what I said to Nolan as soon as the fucking credits started. I was like, oh boy. Like, I was so excited because I know last week we were like, okay, so maybe she is genuine and Shauna's just insane. But like, I kind of think it's more fun that
Yeah.
she wanted Shauna to react.
It'd be we're starting to get into theories and such, but
Yeah, sorry.
this is less of a theory and more of just it would be really funny if this season ended with the adults getting arrested because Melissa had a ring camera inside the house that just recorded everything that happened, and it's
I
just
mean,
like,
technically, they were all invading on her property.
yeah, and there's a lot of footage of assault, and also it's just
Yeah.
like that would be funny if it's just like, you idiots, it's 2025. Like, people have cameras in their homes.
Honestly, I would love
That's how
that
she
because
knew she was in the closet, is because
yeah,
she saw the ring footage.
maybe you're right. Honestly, Jace, that's something I never even considered
It'd be
because
funny.
I totally forget about that. I need that is a great idea though,
I
because
did
that would
I
totally be total evidence.
I didn't
Honestly, that's like kudos again. Like, not I haven't said it yet, but like another reason to add why I love Misty in general is like she pieces the fuck out as soon as she gets there. No
I
evidence that she was there.
I didn't
Incredible.
think of that until you said that they planned it, like they staged
Yeah.
it to happen. I'm like, okay, ring camera, yeah, you could plan this whole thing.
It looks exactly like Assault and like them all showing up. And then when they show up, they already have her like in custody.
Yeah,
Misty's on camera and maybe she's caught holding the tire iron, but like she doesn't use it. I feel like she'd get off
yeah,
scot-free.
and then
Citizen
she
detective.
yeah, and
Walter
then
could figure it out.
yeah, and then she could either claim self-defense or she could just delete the footage of her killing Van. You're
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly. But yeah, I feel like with the fact that she left them all there at her house multiple times, like it's gonna be pretty that would be really hard to explain to the wife. And like I don't think she would risk that if this was
yeah,
Hannah's daughter. Like
yeah,
which it obviously is. So I kind of was thinking that makes me feel like the reason that she killed Van first, because you're like, why would she target Van? Especially like you said in the like teen timeline when Shauna's being such a bitch and like fucking shoots her but
yeah,
misses and then she pisses herself. Van's like the one that runs out to like cover her up for everyone. So you're like, she's so nice to her. What the fuck? But I'm like, do you think maybe like Van is responsible for picking Hannah for the draw for the queen in the
yeah.
hunt, basically? So that could be why she like went for her first. But like I'm just excited that Hilary Swank went like dark, I guess,
Hmm.
is like this episode because she was like I just felt like we needed a wild card in the adult timeline.
Yeah.
Outside of
But
Shauna, who's like almost like we just know she's gonna go be up to no good and pick the wrong thing and kill someone. But that's like on brand for her. So it's like I need some other unhinged shit
yeah,
going on. I need an equal chaotic energy.
yeah, it's like, Shauna and Ty are both wild cards. We needed a new wild card.
Yeah, basically, we just need to mix things up now that Nat's gone,
Yeah.
which is funny because I feel like the more that this show goes on, even though we lost adult Nat, I feel
Hmm.
like if you go back and watch season 1 and 2, like her scenes read differently now, especially like when you see what Teen Nat went through this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly am not worried about just having Teen Van next season because
Yeah.
I know some people thought that like Teen Natalie was not getting enough screen time this season, but like I was like, really? I feel like she's been one of the main characters in the
That's
teen timeline.
that's crazy to me. I feel
I
like
know.
Sophie Thatcher has had a hell of a season.
If she does
She's
not get
had
an Emmy nomination and win, I will burn everything in the world. I will literally burn everything to the ground.
yeah, like
I swear to God.
she's had so many moments like killing Coach. And then she even had the moment in this episode where they learned that Shauna, you know, learned what they were doing and stopped their plan. And she just like had this look of endless despair, like we're not getting
It
rescued.
was so sad. And you're like, I feel like this is because it's always, I think, I don't know about you, but adult and like young Nat, it feels like young Nat was still such a good person and so
Yeah.
positive and trying that like old Nat was so cynical and like kind of an
Just
asshole,
totally jaded.
totally jaded. And you're like, man, how does she get there? Kind of like I love the
Yeah.
performance on both ends, but like seeing it like I feel like this season really showed the
Yeah.
like slow transition. It's so much better than Game of Thrones when they try and convince you Daenerys is the villain the whole time.
Yeah.
Like they've really I feel like they're building things really slowly in this show. And they're showing you how Natalie becomes jaded, how Shauna becomes psychotic,
Yeah.
and the fact I just now I want to know how the fuck does she cover that up all the time? Because
Yeah.
that's insane. Like that you can stuff that much anger down, just pretty crazy. But yeah, I feel like Sophie Thatcher, that scene, I literally like cried when she was crying and just like it snowed and she was just like so and like even like people were like, why was she alone all of a sudden? I'm like, it's called fucking art, bitches. Like
Yeah.
they fucking she feels utterly alone. And then she
Yeah.
probably did stay there crying like later than the others. So honestly, yeah, she just fucking nailed it this episode. And I feel like Natalie as a character is just like it's so sad where it's going, and I feel like it's just going to be more and more heartbreaking, don't you?
Totally. Yeah,
But
because
she's nailing it.
like Juliet Lewis as an adult Natalie like was just so far gone. And
So far gone, yeah.
like to the point where it's like, man, you're gonna have to really work to make any sort of redemption arc, or like maybe not redemption because you didn't do anything, or like recovery arc, or like she
Yeah.
gets hope or something. So like her dying feels like a logical or natural conclusion. Now Misty being the reason for the death, that was surprising.
That
But
was so sad. But I love that Misty, adult Misty, is channeling Natalie
yeah,
100% this season. And as much as like Natalie was like this fucking crazy ass poodle haired bitch, I feel like she would be proud for the way that Misty finally stood up to Shauna and all of them this
yeah.
episode by being like, I'm not gonna fucking clean up your mess. Goodbye. And then like calling Walter and him picking up by fucking helicopter was incredible. But like
That
I
was the
love the fact
craziest thing.
he's like, I thought it might be a little bit much. It's so funny, so delightful that he's always wearing shorts. I really love that, what it says about him. But I'm also thinking still, he's an enigma. I don't know. Actually, can we talk about Walter? Because just like to continue on with him and Misty this episode.
Yeah, I mean, Walter this season is just he's really flexing. He's really doing some things. And yeah, cherry on top of all of it, him coming in on a helicopter and then saying Keith Morrison owed me a favor.
So fucking good. And then like going back to his place, which you're like again, you're just like, damn, this fucking no wonder like he's got all that money. But like, what is your impression? Because I know you've been kind of skeptical about Walter.
Yeah.
So like, what is your impression after this episode? Because I was like, I am not wanting to be skeptical, but I'm like, he's up to something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know what it is. What do you
He,
think?
he's it's
He's an enigma.
he is an enigma. And similar to um to Melissa, he feels like he's becoming another wild card, you know,
Yeah.
where
We don't
he,
know anything about him as real. We don't like
yeah,
other than what he's told us.
yeah, and like I don't know, I, I feel like he's got to be connected to the researchers in the past,
He
and
looks
that,
like one of those people.
yeah, that's part of why he's so invested in the Yellowjackets and Misty in particular.
Or is he working for Melissa, which I would not like.
Yeah, like there's just like, yeah, he's such a great character.
Hmm.
And every time he's on screen, Elijah Wood just lays it out. And he's, even though like this is a very serious show, like Elijah Wood can come in and just be hilarious or
Delightful.
be a little concerning, or like he can just plant all of these little ideas.
His facial expressions are out of control, I feel like. Because he's like expressing all this stuff and I like can't quite get a read on it, but he's being extremely expressive. But it's like it's like a micro expression. So it's like a tiny little like his eyes widening, but then he's correcting himself immediately and like kind of goes back to normal. And I know it's like part of his character, but I'm like, what does that mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. And then the fact that like this episode when Misty is so God bless her, but like when she's like, "Oh, no chocolate shavings,"
Yeah.
it's like, bitch, don't do that. He can see. I know Walter's smarter than that, right?
Yeah.
He can see right through that. He goes and does all the chocolate shavings. And then he comes out and she's gone. And he had previously left the cloned phone from Lottie on the table.
Yeah.
I don't think he did that by accident. I don't think anything he does by accident, right? That was on purpose. Like, there's nothing incriminating about him on the phone because I think he knew that, like, that's why she asked for the chocolate shavings. And then he went to go do that. He didn't take the phone with
Oh,
him and he set
interesting.
it down. I
I
think he knew because, like, I don't know. I feel like she saw something obviously and goes, oh my God, and then,
yeah.
like, leaves. So when he comes out, I don't think he looks surprised. What do you think?
So I took that scene as kind of like a Nosferatu kind of thing, where Misty is his only weakness. Like normally he would never like fall for something like that, but Misty, like he's obsessed with Misty.
I
and
could see that
and
too.
she kind of this is the one time that she actually kind of played him.
I
But
felt like it
maybe
was just so obvious.
yeah, but I don't know. Walter, yeah, total wild card at this point. I don't know. I feel like he also very much could be like who was the guy that Shauna was having the affair with and see
Adam.
like the whole season one. I'm like Adam is Javi, Adam is
Oh
someone,
man,
and
those
then
fucking those were the days. I
and then
remember
yeah,
that.
and then Adam just ended up being some guy,
Just some random guy. That's what I'm
and
saying I like about this show. Sometimes it does tie in, but most of the time it's like they're just not connected. And
yeah,
it almost like when that happens, I feel like they're just adding to the like these girls are fucking nuts as
yeah,
adults still. They're
they're
still
so
these teenage
paranoid,
crazy girls,
yeah,
obviously. But like I feel like so can I ask you if you have any ideas about this? Because I caught this as well. And I was like, hmm. So the scene when she's at Walter's house,
yeah.
adult Misty, and they're like,
Well, it has
the
to be adult Misty. Teen
obviously,
Misty is
sorry.
not hanging out with Walter. That's
And not at a
problematic.
house. Sorry, you're right. When Teen Misty's fucking adult Walter. No, I'm just kidding. So the song playing in the background at Walter's house, which usually is like musical, like it's music from a fucking stage
He
musical
seems
or
like a
whatever.
symphony kind of guy.
He's always, yeah, it's always symphony or like fucking Broadway musical in the background. But when I feel like the song in the background, it was Hold On by Wilson Phillips, which I'm sure everyone remembers from
Yeah.
Bridesmaids.
Yes.
That was like the one, but it's also been played two different times on Yellowjackets, season one. As an avid rewatcher, I remember
Yeah.
exactly. I knew one, I had to look up the other one. But it plays once in, I think, like one of the first episodes, you get a flashback of like Misty before the crash, and it's like she's getting a phone call and the girls are making fun of her. And in the background, that song is playing, and she's like being bullied. And then the second time it plays, like actually loud, is in season one when Misty destroys the black box.
Oh.
So then it was playing again in the background at Walter's house when they're talking about all this stuff. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means. That could mean nothing. It could just mean that that's fucking Misty's theme song.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure like it fits with her personality, like the lyrics. But I also thought maybe that's just a vision or like a audio, like yeah, like basically just a musical hint that we're gonna like come back around to the black box later this episode because it was the
Yeah.
same song playing. And they did come back to the black box. So maybe that was it. I'm
Well,
probably
not
reading way too much into it, but I thought it was interesting to point out.
that's what this show does.
Yeah,
Like
if anyone
nothing
else has
nothing is
ideas,
accidental.
yeah,
And yeah,
that's what
now
I'm
that you're
saying.
now I didn't pick up on that. Now that you're saying it, I'm like, okay. I'm still questionable on Walter.
I
But
don't know, but it's like also, so my one thing holding me back on is Walter evil or got some big plan. What the fuck is taking his ass so long? Like, I don't know. I feel like I couldn't tell if he was lying about the DNA with Shauna. I think that might be right, but we'll get to our theories in a minute. But like, I do feel like I think he might be telling the truth, but I don't know. He could be the one that fucking killed Lottie and planted Shauna's evidence there because he had her DNA already. He could be doing all of this for Misty because he's either insane or a fanboy or whatever the fuck.
yeah, I for the sake of time, I don't know because I feel like you and I could spend an hour just on Walter
That's
and
what I'm saying.
all
He's just
all
so
the
questionable.
possibilities of what that is.
As every episode goes by until we get a definitive answer, I'm still questionable, but I
Yeah.
also feel like what the fuck is it taking him so long? And the
Yeah.
longer time goes on, I feel less suspicious. So
Well,
we'll see
I
though. Maybe they'll prove me wrong.
I wanted to really talk with you, one about Walter and the helicopter, but
Hmm.
then two, Travis makes the pit
Yeah.
and
I did not think he was going to be the one. I figured it would be Shauna going, yeah, let's fucking get that going.
and is Lottie Jesus?
I was going to say, they really are leaning into that, I felt like. So
Like she
here's the
kills a
thing.
bear and she walks on a pit trap and doesn't trigger it. Like,
I agree. She's got Jesus-like abilities that like could be seen a certain way, but also they're both like I don't know. So here's the only thing I can think of because Nolan kept saying she's lighter than the log that he threw, and I was like, I don't think that's true. She's a person. That's a
yeah,
log.
like
Like I don't think that's the case.
she's a teenager, but she's
She's
heavier than a
she's
log.
skinny, but she's not like the log does not weigh more than her. Like I
She's
don't think
she's
that.
probably about the same weight as Pit Girl.
Yeah.
So
So here's the thing though, is that I was thinking the way that he tests the pit first and throws the log, it has like high velocity. I'm not a fucking
yeah.
doctor, scientist, whatever the fuck would come up with those terms. The velocity of the throw would give it more like fucking impact and make it go through. Versus like same with if someone's running over it, that's when they fall in because they're like there's a lot of like weight and movement. She like fucking like glided over it. She was going extremely soft and it's almost like I don't know. I feel like it was just a total accident. And maybe he also covered it up a bit more than he did initially so that it would look less obvious. I mean, it still looks pretty obvious, but like that was definitely a head scratcher. Like that could get me on Team Supernatural a little bit, but I also feel like I don't think Lottie's really Jesus. I don't think they're gonna go there. I think that is just fucking with Travis's head on purpose because that seems to be Lottie's goddamn specialty.
Yeah.
If I was Travis, I would come back from the dead just to kill her earlier this season. Maybe that'll be the twist.
That
It's like, fuck that
that
bitch.
that scene might have been the most of this entire season where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
because
okay,
the way
oh,
those
so she's
traps work
Jesus.
is that they look like it's the ground, and then it's not a matter of velocity or anything. It's just you think about
Wait,
if you build a house or if you build a square, there's support beams to support the weight of anything. There's no support beams other than just the weight of sticks and a little bit of dirt and bushes. So if she walks out, she's gonna fall in. It can't support any amount of weight. So when she did that and then came back, I was like, what the fuck? And then Travis, I was surprised you were talking about how last week, like Travis showed his true colors. Like it was all fake, it was all bullshit. I was like, I don't know. But then this time, I'm like, okay, Travis just tried to kill Lottie. So
good on him. Too bad
that,
he couldn't fucking do it.
and then
I
Lottie gets
mean,
her
yeah.
revenge in the adult timeline. But
It's so sad, honestly. I know Lottie like is a complicated character because she's definitely mentally ill. But like honestly, after all of this, everyone on this team is mentally ill.
yeah.
Like if they didn't start that way, they all become that way.
If you get out of
It's
this
pretty
without
fucked.
PTSD, you are the bad guy.
That's Misty though. I don't think that I think if you get out of it without PTSD, like she looks back on it like summer camp. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't think it's like I think it's not a bad thing for Misty. I feel like I honestly my dream for the end of this show is that all the adults are dead except for Misty and
I,
she's like on a talk show spilling all the deets.
I think Misty, as a weird kid to begin with, already had coping mechanisms that the other ones did not.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. She was uniquely qualified for where this shit was going.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
So
Um, the only other, or are you wanting to go to predictions?
I had one thing, and it
Cool.
kind
I
of
have another
leads to
thing too.
predictions. So do you have
Okay.
something not prediction related?
Yes, but you go first.
Well, no, my thing leads to predictions. So you
Oh,
go
okay. So I
first.
should go first. Well, I'm dumb. Don't make fun of me. I was gonna talk about Hannah and Cody. Is that what you were gonna talk about?
uh, oh, yeah. I did not. That was maybe the biggest surprise of the season that Hannah is the one that kills Cody.
I thought that was super smart though, because now she can't like. I mean, obviously they might not trust her right away, but like
She's got some cred.
she's got some fucking credit, and she like obviously has like studied. Like she's a fucking scientist and she was talking about how the survival was so impressive and interesting. Like I think she just understood way better that like there was a need for her or there was a need for her to prove herself to Shauna in order to be safe and part
Yes.
of the group and that would be better because also like she knew they have no use for Cody at this point. Like
Yes.
Joel McHale I knew he was not going to be around long once like he was a prisoner of theirs because of course, like what are they going to do with him? Shauna doesn't want them to leave, so he's going to be dead immediately. Like I figured. But the fact that Hannah killed him, I thought So smart because now they can trust her in the way of like they don't feel like she's going to tattle on them if they get rescued or anything,
Yeah.
or that she's a liability because she fucking killed Cody in front of them and like did that like just straight up murder, you know?
Yeah.
So
I thought I thought Joel McHale was going to be on for more than 2 episodes, but
I thought that was a cool, like, I mean, honestly, I just respect it. Like, a show's like this group of women have literally no use for a man in their society. Travis only is there and allowed to exist because he's quiet and he goes along with everything and he just sits in the background.
and
Like,
he
he
was
makes
part and
zero
he was
trouble.
part of the crew to begin with. So,
Exactly. But also, like, I mean, Ben was too, and that didn't
yeah,
end well. So, like, Travis
if
knows
Travis
if
did anything, they
he
would take
knows.
him out.
Yeah, it's like you just stick with the pact. And even Javi was like just weak and they took him out. So like there was no use for someone like that who could possibly get like actually kill them or take them out or
Yeah.
get help. So I thought it was like the exact right move of Hannah, but also funny because of Akila's vision, where she had that vision back whatever episode about
The
the
three-eyed
bear and
bear.
the three-eyed bear, and this his name is Kodiak and he got his third eye.
Yeah, he did.
Thought it maybe Aquila is really a prophet. Or maybe this is all just fucking dumb luck. Who
Uh
knows?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I saw a Reddit theory and it essentially revolves around there's one shot in a previous episode and then in this episode she asks him because his clothing says something Chung, like the name is like David Chung or something, and she's
Eric
like
Chung.
Eric
Who
Chung,
is
and she's
that?
like who's Eric Chung? And he's like I bought it at a thrift store, but like they showed that twice, and people are like the show doesn't just show us things, uh, and I thought it was interesting. The theory was that Eric Chung is Cabin Daddy, and Joel McHale killed Cabin Daddy and put him in the attic. And so the body that we
Mm,
see when they go to the cabin, that is Cabin Daddy. And Joel
interesting.
McHale essentially is posing as like I don't know, posing as a guide or I don't know. I imagine they hired a guide, but I don't know to add to
Inter-
the Cabin Daddy lore.
yeah. But I think we can. It's so funny. I feel like there were so many people having all these theories about Joel McHale's character, and I just love that they like were like, nah, we've got no use for a man. We're gonna kill him off because
Yeah,
honestly, like that guy got away with like got pretty lucky because if a woman was caught by an all boys fucking team, like an adult woman, she would not have a pleasant experience.
yeah,
Like he dying so suddenly and just like being tied up, like it would be horrible. I thought it was interesting that the women were just pragmatic, like we have no use for you. But
yeah,
also like Hannah knew that, and the fact that she like is a scientist, I think is going to really help in her favor. I like there's people who are already like, does she become Antler Queen? Whatever. But
hmm,
I just think it's funny that everyone was like so all in on Joel McHale's character. And I just thought I knew I was like, I'm not gonna waste time thinking about who he is because I don't think he's gonna be around very long. Same with the other guy who got killed instantly.
yeah,
I was like, I know that these two men, there's no point. Like I want to see I think Hannah is gonna have the most interesting interactions and the only one who could even like actually stick around for longer, and obviously she does. But I'm curious if Van like makes it so that she gets pulled next, or maybe the wilderness chooses someone else. I don't know.
yeah,
I think we'll get a view of like somebody saying I'm not gonna run and then just submitting and dying
yeah,
because like Lottie said last season and you called it out like you know what happens like when if you choose not to run, right?
yeah.
And we're always like, ooh, who's gonna do that? I feel like it could be Aquila, man. She was like this episode, like a real switch, and I kind of felt bad for her, but I'm also like, hey, you led the whole pack to you guys when you were gonna get out. So like
Yeah.
it's just interesting how the actual like hope of rescue switched like so many of them reverted back to their old selves, whereas like it's interesting the split in the camp now.
Yeah. 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 The Civil War is about to
It's
happen.
brewing.
Yeah.
You I'm sorry, what was your gonna be your thing that
So
leads into
my
it?
thing was about Jeff and Callie.
Thank you. I was gonna say we have to mention that because this was just delightful.
Just Jeff knowing how to roll a joint, like this is a real father moment.
And like teaching her, and then like also the fact that like you see later, like the fucking cheese grater is what they use. And I just thought this is wholesome as all hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was just the best.
But this was the scene where I think I'm officially turning on Callie. I think Callie is manipulating her dad.
Oh,
It,
really?
yeah,
You think
because
Apple really does not fall far from
I
the tree,
I
huh?
think Callie knows everything. I think Lottie told Callie almost everything. And from her being so engaged in like planting her phone in her mom's purse to get the recording to looking up the hikers and like seeing what information she can collect outside of the Yellow Jackets, and then the way that she's talking to her dad, like she gets Jeff to be vulnerable and to talk about like it's hard being married to your mom, and then she's like, it's okay to feel this way. I'm like, Callie is trying to bring her mom down.
I think that, okay, so that's interesting that that's your read on it. Personally, I feel like Callie is in the right here.
Well,
Like,
I'm saying I am turning on Callie because I'm obsessed with Shauna. Shauna's
I
my
mean, yeah,
queen.
she's a queen, but she's so wrong in
Yes,
both
yes.
timelines and everything she does. It's like this bitch needs to be put down. Honestly, my dream for Shauna is that she like goes to like a women's prison and she like rules all the bitches in
Just
there
becomes a lord of
and like becomes her real self.
the
Like
kingpin
honestly,
Shauna. That would
yeah,
be.
like it
I would
could
watch
be
that spinoff.
or like even at the insane asylum, whatever it is, wherever she is, she's got to be running circles around everyone. So I'm pretty excited for like that possibility as well. But I feel like Callie definitely knows more. But I think next episode she's gonna admit to her dad that she killed Lottie or she was there when it happened.
Oh,
I think that's where it's going because I think like there's a shot in the promo. People have like, I can't slow this down and look at every frame and take a picture and then analyze. Other people post them and I'm like, thank fuck. And I was looking at them and there's like a photo of Shauna looking in a closet and it looks like Callie's closet. It's just hangers and no clothes. So I'm hoping I think it would be interesting for the story as well for Shauna. But I wonder if like Jeff and Callie might pack their shit and leave and like ditch
oh,
Shauna because Jeff's like, okay, like I don't know if Callie's I feel like it could be an accident with the Lottie thing, but like I
yeah.
think that could be why her DNA is under the nails. And I feel like I don't know. I'm curious. I think something could have happened. I think Lottie could have freaked her out. Maybe she pushed her, or maybe she didn't. Maybe she just fell, whatever. But like, I think she's gonna admit it to Jeff, and then he's gonna be like, "I have to get you out of here because like you're good. You're turning into your mother." Like I
Oh,
don't want that. I don't want Callie to repeat. And then there's like another shot of like Shauna crying, reading a letter. So like I kind of feel like maybe there really wasn't a letter. Maybe there was that Hillary Swank or Melissa attached when she sent the tape, but like, I don't know. I think she might be reading a letter from Jeff that's like, we left. Bye. Don't look us up. And then Shauna would have
oh,
lost everything, which would honestly just make her even more unhinged next season.
yeah.
So I feel like there would be nothing holding her back from going full wilderness Shauna as an adult for and that's all we want for Melanie Linsky. So I kind of feel like that would be exact because I mean, unless Shauna or Callie like kills Jeff or something, and Callie's like, I'm gonna fucking expose everything, maybe. But I kind of or like I don't know. I feel like Jeff, if he dies, I'm gonna riot. I don't think he'll die. I'm hoping they ride off into the sunset. I hope they're still in the plot, but like
If
I think that would be nice.
if Jeff dies before he learns about Melissa, I
Yeah.
I will
He
lose it.
needs you
I
need
need
that
that comedic
scene.
moment.
I want that this season. I wonder if we're gonna get it, but we might not. And maybe, hopefully, he sticks around long enough. Because I agree, that is like a number one hope. If we don't get that this season, fucking better get it next season. I agree. Okay, so
Yeah.
should we do our
Yeah,
predictions
let's do
now?
it. So
Okay.
you kind of laid out some of yours. Is there any other anything
Well,
else?
let's just go on record and say who killed Lottie and like who are you going with? Because I'm gonna go Callie officially. That's my bet for next step for finding out? Because we find out in the finale.
I I like the idea of Callie, but I think I'm gonna go Shauna. I think
Really?
I think Shauna had the most motive
Mm-hmm.
because she saw that Lottie was getting close with Callie. Lottie was
And she gave her the Jackie
start
necklace.
yeah, gave her the Jackie necklace. She was like just kind of involving herself in her family's life.
And now she found out like it was. I mean, I imagine if she were to look up Lottie, find out she was staying at her dad's fucking really rich place, maybe she had found out that info ahead of like Lottie dying.
Yeah, and then used the cat thing as cover
Hmm.
when the cat idea is insane.
That
But
was a really funny scene
it
though,
was
this
funny,
in this
but it
episode when she's like, I got a cat, and then like I just love Misty, like, wow, what a satisfying answer.
yeah.
Like, really? You expect I was like, this is literally like it does sound like the fakest story ever because I'm like, this is literally the plot, like part of the plot from Meet the Parents. He does the same
Yeah.
thing with Jinxie Cat and he spray paints the tail. So I was like 100% like this is 100% not a real thing. Like she lied. I
Yeah.
mean, I know we saw the cat physically, so we do know that she got a cat.
Yeah.
But like who's to say she didn't adopt the cat? And again, like Walter even says, as much as we can't trust him, he does say, like, what if the cat was just waiting in the car while she murdered?
Yeah.
Could be a thing.
Yeah.
Won't rule it
She
out,
she
but
she knows how to make phone calls, so
either way, it's a Sadeki. It's definitely not Jeff. I think anyone thinking those scratch marks, that's from the cat, or God forbid, Shauna, probably. She's so evil.
yeah. And Jeff's DNA wouldn't show up,
Exactly.
but Callie would match with Shauna, I think on
Because that's the only other DNA that he would have on
yeah.
hand to match it with, I would
Yeah.
imagine. It might, maybe he doesn't have the right equipment that would tell him if it's a full or
Yeah.
partial. Maybe it does.
Maybe it's a partial
But
match. I don't
maybe
know.
he's withholding that from Misty
Yeah.
because he wants her to come back to him. Exactly. I think that's like my I the one I wanted to ask you outside of who killed Lottie. So I'm glad that we both it's either Callie or Shauna. I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's not Dark Tie. I think I wanted to ask you, do you think Melissa is gonna make it to next season?
Oh.
Or is I mean, it seems like Ty is like on the rampage in the finale, and I mean, I would be too. But like, do
I
you? I feel
I
like they won't get rid of Melissa right away.
I feel like after killing Van, if yeah, I mean she either has to die next episode or the next episode is going to end with her like on the run.
I heard like a rumor
Like
that
Ty is not going to let her live
that's what I'm saying.
if she gets a hold of her.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If she makes it to her, like, there's going to be, unless someone intervenes or something else happens, or Ty dies, which God forbid, I can't imagine they would do that. But I've heard that, like, they are expecting Hilary Swank to be a series regular for season 4.
I I would if I had to bet, I would say she comes back next season because that would be pretty shocking if they killed three core cast members in one season.
Hmm. I, I, I mean, I've honestly always felt like it's going to come down to Misty and Shauna, but and I just want Shauna to be or I want Misty to be the last one left, which would be sad because all she wants is to be with everyone, right? But now I'm wondering, is it going to be down to like Melissa and Lottie? Because I feel like we've gotten a good change from Melissa in the teen timeline where like people who are so against her, I feel like you can really understand a lot of the things that she went through. And like, I mean, come on, we've all made terrible decisions, let alone in a horrible situation like this. I feel like it's, it's not her fault as a teenager. And I'm glad that she's like kind of coming back from the Shauna shit. And now as an adult, I'm like, I know she killed Van, who like everyone's like, she's so sweet, but like, we haven't seen everything yet. It's gonna
Yeah.
get worse out there. So like, I could see them doing some fucked up shit, especially if Ty and Van are like choosing who fucking dies. That's pretty diabolical.
Yeah. Uh
I think
yeah.
Mari, honestly, I don't know. I think Mari might be dead soon or like I
Because
mean, she's
Mari's like
definitely,
kind of leading the revolt, right?
I don't know about leading it. I don't know if Mari
She's a
really
part of
leads.
it.
She never really leads anything. She's always a part of things or like in the peanut gallery complaining. But I feel like Mari has like the most beef with Shauna
Yeah.
outside of, I guess, now Melissa and most people, but like still, I feel like Mari and her, the finale's called Full Circle, and they
Yeah.
were hunting Mari in the opening game. It turned out to be a game, but like,
Yeah.
what if they hunt Mari in the opening of this episode, like for real, for real?
Mm.
I wonder if we're gonna get the pit girl thing at the end of this scene. Like, are we gonna go back to the pilot, or are we gonna be there next season? I don't know.
So that's my theory for the teen timeline. So,
Hmm.
so it ends with Natalie seeing Misty in the black box.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's talk about that.
And so that's going to
What's your
come.
prediction there?
Uh,
Like, do
if
you
I,
think Natalie will get mad and tell everyone? Or do you
no.
think, I think Nat's going to cover it up, and that explains perfectly why Misty thinks they're best friends as adults.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's why.
Yeah. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, that makes sense. I don't think Natalie is going to throw Misty under the bus because young Natalie has a lot of empathy, and young Natalie has lost people this season.
But she
So,
did just like have that mental break of like we're stuck here forever. She might be mad if Shauna or if she finds out that Misty might have been the reason that
but
no one found them so far. But I agree with you. I don't think she's gonna tell either. I still don't
but
think she's gone that far.
I agree. But Misty is the one who has the means to fix the radio.
Exactly. And if
So,
they even bring it up to people, then Sean is going to take it and will
yeah.
destroy it like 100%. So that's another reason. I think it's like partially empathy, maybe, but I think it's like maybe that's just how Misty takes it. But
I
really, Nat's just like, and maybe that's why like Ty says that Nat is the one that got them out of there and let them survive. You know, like she mentions that as an adult.
yeah.
She's the reason that we're here. And I feel like maybe Nat takes credit for fixing the shit and finding whatever because Misty can't because she destroyed it and they would never trust her.
Yeah. I
And then
think
that
yeah.
explains why Misty, like, because I've always wondered, like, why the fuck does adult Misty think that she's best friends with Natalie for some reason? Because, like,
Yeah.
Natalie was meaner to her as an adult. And
Yeah.
even in the teenage timeline, yeah, she's not the meanest, she's not mean to her on purpose, but, like, I don't feel like she's particularly, like, friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that is going to play out. I think they are going to fix the radio, and that's going to be the thing that leads to them actually getting rescued. But I think the teen timeline,
You think
I
they're gonna
feel,
fix the like,
the,
scientist radio?
yeah, the radio, and they're
But
going to.
wouldn't that be suspicious? Wouldn't they be like, you found the radio, but you didn't find them out here? I feel like people would be
I
raising
guess I don't.
questions about it.
Well, I feel like they are going to cover up the deaths. Like,
Yeah. But like, wouldn't it be suspicious? Like, there would be a story online, and like, people would have already had the theory out there that they killed the frog scientist. But it sounded like no one's put that together yet.
well, Hannah killed Cody. Hannah's
Mm-hmm.
fingerprints are on the knife. I feel like they could make a story where they found the bodies and the equipment.
Mm. Yeah.
And, you know,
Would love
so
to see Shauna's face when that fucking the rescue rolled up and they're like, oh, fuck. Like now we really have to fucking protect ourselves
yeah,
because it's like that was their whole thing this episode. But yeah,
yeah,
I was
but
just curious. Maybe I don't know if that's like something that would really even affect her. If anyone would ask, they could be like, we found this in the woods, you know?
yeah.
But that was just
I mean,
something I thought about.
but if they've been out there for a year,
Hmm.
like, I don't know, could be a believable story. I don't know, but because you think like if there's, they would use those people to get help, but if they turned on each other and then they found the stuff, I don't know. Sounds like they could spin it and make it work. I'm obviously not that good at lying, so
Yeah.
but
But I'm glad we both agree that I don't think Nat would do that to Misty. If it was like anybody else, especially Mari, she would run and tell the others immediately.
yes. But I think the ending is going to lead up to Pit Girl. I think Shauna is going to take control, whether that means by killing Mari or killing some other people. She's going to take control, and it's going to end with Hannah drawing the queen
I could see that
because
because I think it's
they've
going to
already
end on
said
a cliffhanger.
they've already
Yeah.
said winter's coming. Like
And it's
Her
here now, the
it's
snow. It's
it's
just like Ned
here.
Stark. He's always right.
Misty's glasses are broke.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's coming up to when they get rescued. And Pit Girl is not right before they get rescued. So I actually think
We don't know.
the remainder of the team timeline, I think it's going to start with Pit Girl in next season, and then what happens after Pit Girl prior to them getting rescued, like just
Mm-hmm.
full insanity of them being full cult.
I'm that's what I feel like if they don't go back fully to the Pit Girl thing this season finale, then they'll do it next season. So I feel like we'll end on a cliffhanger. So it definitely could be like Hannah drawing the card, which is like I feel like they might subvert that then next season. But I'm wondering if they're going to show us anything about like post rescue because they did briefly
Yeah,
in season two. They've said they're introducing a third timeline of the post rescue. So we'll have teen wilderness, teen post rescue, and then adults. And who
that would
knows
be
how long
interesting.
the post rescue will span? It could go like into the adults, like, you know what I mean? It'd be interesting. I think that'll be like something that keeps going because I feel like they're obviously pretty close to rescue. That will definitely happen, I think, next season. There's supposed to be a 5 season plan. So I
Yeah,
kind
this
of
is
am wondering if we're going to see anything post rescue this season at all, or if they'll introduce that next season. I guess it might make sense, but it would be a crazy ass cliffhanger to hang out to like
oh
end on
yeah.
like them getting rescued or some shit.
That
I don't
that's a
know.
good call. That would be a good ending.
I'm just trying to think of something dramatic, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be really dramatic for the team timeline, and that's usually where they end things because that is the most dramatic timeline.
Yeah.
Generally. You know, that's where they got to end the season at. And I mean, like last season, the cabin was burning down on fire while the snow was going on. So I feel like they need something equally shocking. A fucking rescue people showing up, like a whole team or like a helicopter, some shit would be nuts.
Yeah.
And then, or even just showing them like getting off the plane and going home to their families or something at the airport would be like equally dramatic. I feel like it's got to be something like that.
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope. I don't want to wait another 2 years until I have to see this other timeline. I'm ready for it. But either way, I just feel like I'm gonna go through so many feelings. Like I'm just gonna, it's gonna be a lot next episode. I don't know if Melissa's gonna kill anyone again, but who knows? She's a fucking wild card. I think she'll come back for the finale, but I'm curious what happens.
Yeah. I think we all are very curious. So
Yes.
can't wait to watch it. But yeah, that is it for this week. And we will huddle up next week for the finale of Yellowjackets.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.